Wayne is my favorite person to work with though, because it's just, ooh, Lil Wayne, he's just too good. Ooh, Lil Wayne, he's just too good.
Embarrassing.
The moment Lil Wayne turned his rap concert into a rock concert in Detroit.
Lobbies and gentlegrams, the Super Bowl contender whose slot surrendered to the short-statured, sharpshooting assassin, the double entendre dragon, rapping before you were planted on this planet. Prime peaked when Obama took office, but after a pardon from the next prezi, people saying he lost it. The Carter 6 was bricks, but Wayne wouldn't and couldn't quit. He hit the road and things might be getting even more out of control, with fans leaving the show as Wayne forces their ears to bleed through rock and roll. A lot's going down, so I'll break it down for you, but first hit that like and subscribe button with a little hawk too. Lobbies and gentlegrams, by the way, before kicking off this video, I just wanted to let you know, if you wanted to support me in hiring a video editor, if you've been around the channel long enough, you know that I don't know how to edit for the life of me. I finally figured out how to get this QR code thing. This is for the Rapaholics PayPal. If you want to donate $1 or $2 or not, I love you for being here regardless. All proceeds will go towards getting an editor in the lab so I can bring you guys an elevated content experience. With that being said, enjoy the video. Now, lobbies and gentlegrams, what the hell is going on with Lil Wayne? Do you realize the last time 1 million hip-hop CDs left the store in a single week was with Lil Wayne, the Carter 3 back in 2008? This is around the same time he decided to pick up a guitar. We'll touch on that shortly. It was also around the same time that he decided to lend his star power onto his brand new Young Money signees like Tyga, Drake, and Nicki Minaj. Of course, they went on to do wonders for his legacy, but nowadays, it seems like Wayne picking back up the guitar and trying to help out his new Young Money artists is doing more bad for his career than good. I mean, he's touring his, how do I put this nicely, underwhelming comeback project, the Carter 6, all across North America right now. This is Wayne's first stadium tour in, I believe, over a decade. And it seems like fans' reaction to the Carter 6 tour is pretty similar to their reaction to the album. They're getting out of their seat that they paid their hard-earned money for and simply walking away.
The moment Lil Wayne turned his rap concert into a rock concert in Detroit.
And it's quite insane really how in all facets of Lil Wayne's career in 2025, the only word I can use to define it, sadly, is tone deaf. I mean, when he's singing and rapping his songs on stage, he sounds tone deaf. The song choices and the different acts that he's signing to Young Money seem tone deaf. What made you think any of your fans are going to have any interest in a punk rock heavy metal singer when they barely supported your rock album? And speaking of albums, I mean, the most tone deaf move I think Lil Wayne has possibly ever had in his entire career was not doing heavy metal on his first stadium tour in a decade, not having a public meltdown over not getting the Super Bowl halftime show that was never promised to him, not all the don't stops.
I study for a living.
No, in my opinion, the most tone-deaf thing as a 10-plus year Lil Wayne lawyer, always backing my boy up to being the GOAT of his generation, fighting off the Kanye fans, the Eminem fans, the 50 Cent fans. Nah, Lil Wayne was my GOAT. So the most tone-deaf thing I think he has ever done in his career is create a 7-year gap between the Carter 5 and the Carter 6, and completely polluting one of the most sacred hip-hop album series of all time with elephant sounds.
What up, dope? All my cutthroat, cut a nigga.
Oh my god, bro. This is not real. I'm being so serious, bro. This is not real. What the fuck is this beat, dog? What is this beat, dog? I'm not gonna lie. We're trolling. You're dead trolling, bro. You're not serious at all. You don't give a fuck. Do you hear this?
Elephant memory, but I can't remember her though.
I study for a living.
So, in order to understand how we got to the point where fans are literally walking out of Lil Wayne's concert, his latest installment in the Carter series is more known for elephant sounds than it is for actual music. Well, we gotta understand how Lil Wayne even got to this point. And let me ask you, out of the big three of the 2000s, Kanye West, Eminem, and Lil Wayne, who had the hardest and saddest fall off? I think the title still has to go to Kanye, but it's scaring me to say that Lil Wayne is like almost slowly approaching it. Let me put something crazy into perspective for you. So remember how I said Lil Wayne was the last rapper to actually sell 1 million physical copies in a single week with his album The Carter 3 all the way back in 2008. So in 2008, Lil Wayne sells 1 million copies first week. The next year after that, the Clips dropped their, what many fans believed at the time to be, final project, Till the Casket drops, and that only sells 31,000 copies in the first week. Now you fast forward over 15 years later, and Lil Wayne, who once sold 1 million copies with the Carter 3, is now selling less in his first week with the Carter 6 than the Clips did with their album in 2025.
Microphone that Pusha T used during the show, it had his autograph on it. That was like a really big Clips fan. I used to pretend I was perform all the Clips songs in my basement with the mic, and then I performed with it so much that I rubbed the autograph off. At the time, it meant the world to me, though. I'm gonna regret even telling this story. I study Pusha T for a living.
Think about that gap. In 2009, Lil Wayne was doing 1 milli, the Clips were doing 31,000. In 2025, the Clips are outselling Lil Wayne. But it was that year, in 2009, when the Clips dropped that project, that things kind of started to be on a small, almost unnoticeable decline for Lil Wayne. Now, I'm not one of these stans who won't hold my favorite artist to some sort of critique, but I've been following Lil Wayne's career since I was 7 years old. The first album I ever bought was the clean version of the Carter 2. The first concert I went to was August 2011, right before the Carter 4. I was like 13, 14 years old. Lil Wayne's I Am Music tour, that's the first time I ever smelt the smell of Mary Jane, and boy, was there a lot of that throughout that entire arena. And you might recognize that name, I Am Music, because that's the same name of the Playboi Carti album 15 years after Lil Wayne named his tour that. I say that to say Lil Wayne could easily be, if not Kanye West, the most influential rapper of this entire generation. Forget the fact that he ushered in two of hip-hop's biggest superstars with Drake and Nicki Minaj. Forget about the fact that Young Thug literally based his entire career off of Lil Wayne. We're gonna touch on Young Thug later too, because his interrogation with the police in 2015 following the shooting of Lil Wayne's tour bus just leaked online, and forget all the street stuff. Young Thug reveals so much as to why Lil Wayne actually ended up falling off. And he explained it all, putting all these missing puzzle pieces to the police.
If you had to put your finger on a why Lil Wayne don't like you, could you figure it out?
He's just been with Birdman his whole life, and he's just so spoiled to the point where it's like he's really spoiled. He's been a millionaire. He's been a superstar since he was 9 years old. So he don't know nothing but his way.
But all of these Young Thug offsprings you see in the game today, Lil Uzi, Playboi Carti, Lil Baby, Gunna, whoever, they are all a byproduct of Lil Wayne. Tyler, the Creator, is a byproduct of Lil Wayne. Future, to a degree, is a byproduct of Lil Wayne. Same with Kendrick Lamar. I mean, one of his first mixtapes was called C4, based off of Lil Wayne's The Carter series, where he was only rapping on Carter 3 beats and doing his best Lil Wayne impersonation. So when he says, used to bump the Carter 3, I held my rolly chain proud, the irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. The irony is not just in the fact that Kendrick got that Super Bowl slot over Wayne due to his hard work that was inspired off of prime Lil Wayne's work ethic, but it paints a bigger picture. The irony is that Lil Wayne is where he is today in 2025 because as much as he's ushered in a large portion of the next generation after him, he's always been in too much of his own world to ever embrace them. And it's a weird duality because being in his own world was what once made Wayne the greatest rapper alive. Between 2006 to 2008, Lil Wayne had so much music circulating the internet, circulating the radio, that his record label UMG had to hire an entire department just to keep up with clearing all the Lil Wayne records that were coming out.
I personally would fell victim to Lil Wayne feature run. I'll tell you 2 behind the scenes things about Dwayne Carter. One is Wayne had so many features on the radio and in the ether at one time that they said, we literally can't work your record because it's an oversaturation of Lil Wayne. This was an official directive from a record label. There was literally one person's job. They were getting a salary at Universal, at UMG, to just keep up with Lil Wayne features. That's a fact.
Wait, what did they have to do?
They just had to keep up with his features, like doing clearances.
You think Drake had UMG stressing? The entire staff at the record label could not keep up with this one man's work ethic. And that's something he still maintains to this day, and that's why you still see flashes of greatness throughout his feature verses, because Lil Wayne is in there recording 50 plus songs a night, 3 decades into his career.
You have over 80 songs in your vault. You know, I bet more than that. Over 200?
In your vault. Like this, when you leave a session and you ask, can I get what I got from what I did tonight? And it comes back as files. My last files was 53. I did 53 songs that night.
And that's why I'll still always say Wayne's the GOAT no matter what, because this is 30 years in that he's still recording 50 songs a night. So even if 49 of them are damn near unlistenable, the fact that he's still in that booth is insane. But maybe there's a deeper reason to that. Unlike Drake, a bunch of you guys have been telling me you've been Anita Max winning some free cash from playing mobile games. So I want to put all you guys on to something that almost seems too good to be true. All right, let me give you a little glimpse into my life. When I'm not making this content for you guys, I have a disgusting addiction to my phone. My daily screen time is higher than Drake on that album cover, higher than Snoop off the edibles. So if you guys suffer that same addiction as me, I want to put you onto something that's going to change your life. FreeCash.com is a program that partners with mobile games that are looking for more users to play their games, and they will literally pay you to play their games for free. All you got to do is sign up using the QR code you see on the screen or using the link in the description of this video. You make an account super easy. All you got to do is put in your email, create a password, verify your email, and then you're good to go. And they got a bunch of games. My favorite is the Monopoly Go, because we're always on the go trying to make some money. Once you make an account, you just click the game you want to play, follow the directions that they give you. The directions are super easy. Usually you just got to download the game and start playing. So it's about time you put that phone addiction to good use. Again, use the QR code you see on the screen or the link in my description. Create an account and you could start making more than $150 just to play a game on your phone. In 2020, Lil Wayne was arrested for possession of a firearm on his private jet. A couple months after getting arrested, before getting pardoned by Donald Trump, Lil Wayne actually sold his masters back to Universal Music Group for $100 million. And those masters didn't just include Wayne's catalog. It also included the portion of Drake, Nicki, and Tyga's catalogs that were under Young Money. You might think $100 million is a lot, but when you own $2, $10, $20 million homes, you got 4 kids, a private jet, 4 baby mothers, and a lifestyle you gotta maintain, that $100 million is not generational wealth to someone spending at that type of level. But to sell a catalog that includes albums like Pink Friday, The Carter 3 and 4, portions of Take Care and Nothing Was the Same, these are massive blockbuster albums that will generate millions of dollars every single year just off the streams that they still produce to this day. It's only speculation here, but to sell that for a measly $100 million when that could go on to generate your kids millions of dollars for decades to come as they grow up, maybe there was a bigger reason why he ended up giving this up. Maybe there's a bigger reason why he's still out on tour, 3 decades into his career, still recording 50 songs a night and still trying to push the new Young Money artists down our throats. We're going to touch on those new Young Money artists and how he basically made his fans walk out of his show when they were forced to listen to Young Money's new heavy metal artist. But first, again, I want to take you guys back a little bit. See, after the monumental success of the Carter 3, you can't really get much higher than that, right? No rapper has sold more than that in their first week without a decline. 50 Cent did it after Get Rich or Die Trying with The Massacre. That was arguably his last massive blockbuster album. Eminem did it 3 times, but after his last go-around with Encore, selling 1 million in the first week, that was when the music definitely took a decline as well. Drake did 1 million in the first week with Views back in 2016. That was most definitely his commercial peak, and the quality of the music declined after that. But after Wayne sold 1 million in the first week, he took a different direction. He said, F the sales, forget about what people love me for, I'm gonna make a rock album. And this is something that's still hurting Wayne's career to this day. The fact that he picked up a guitar back in 2008. And I'm all for an artist experimenting, but the signs had been there the second he released the first single to this project, Prom Queen. It only got worse with songs like Da Da Da. And the numbers don't lie, right? A year before, in 2008, he sold 1 million in the first week. In 2009, with Rebirth, he sold 173,000 copies in the first week. Not bad by any measure, but when you're the greatest rapper alive, that is a sharp decline.
I study
Sharp decline.
for a living.
And don't get me wrong, there were some highlights on Rebirth, songs like Paradise and Drop the World, and then you also had the fact that it definitely influenced tons of the SoundCloud era generation of rappers to put on that rockstar persona as well. The Lil Uzis, XXX, that was all off the blueprint of Rebirth, so it wasn't all bad. So you could chalk that up to a one-off experiment. But after that, Lil Wayne was sentenced to 8 months in Rikers Island Correctional Facility, and before leaving he rapped, "I'll be gone till November, but I'm not tripping. I know Drake is gonna kill them."
Wayne is my favorite person to work with, though, because it's just, ooh, Lil Wayne, he's just too good. Ooh, Lil Wayne, he's just too good.
Embarrassing.
And it feels like ever since he got out of prison, Lil Wayne kind of let Drake just take the baton and do what he was doing before he got locked up. His biggest album after prison, The Carter 4, felt like it possessed a heavier lack of effort compared to former Carters. And his mixtapes like Sorry for the Wait, Dedication 4 and 5, they didn't hold the candle to Dedication 2, Drought 3, No Ceilings. The focus by then was obviously to take a back seat and let Drake and Nicki carry on the legacy. Wayne literally rapped, "We're gonna be alright if we put Drake on every hook." And that's a noble, respectable thing to do, right? We see the same thing with Jay-Z. He definitely took the executive role in the later half of his career, and as a result, we got flourishing artists like Kanye West, Rihanna, J. Cole, and more. But even with that, with Jay taking that back seat, he never let a project release that felt like a blatant lack of effort. You could say that Lil Wayne experimented on a wider spectrum so there was more room for error, but I'm sorry, if you look at the last decade of Lil Wayne's career, you got I'm Not a Human Being 2, Free Weezy album, Carter 5, Funeral, and now Carter 6, along with like 7 different mixtapes. Tell me which one of those 5 albums you could say holds a candle to anything in Wayne's earlier catalog or even to anything that was being released by other rappers in his age bracket. Kanye gave us projects like Kid See Ghost and Donda, Jay gave us 444, Nas gave us the King's Disease series. It's hard to stay at the top for so long, but it's easy to put the bare minimum of quality control into the full-fledged albums that you release. A bad single here and there is one thing. An experimental album, that's also one thing. But 5 consecutive albums from the most influential rapper of this generation and not one of them left a real impact? It's interesting to say the least. And I think it all ties back into the fact that, again, Lil Wayne is absolutely in his own world, which I can't emphasize enough. You're 3 decades into your career, that's more than fine, but if you expect to be able to go on a successful stadium tour, you want to continue the legacy of the Carter series with new installments, you want to see an actual return on investment on the 50 songs that you record per night, you gotta hold yourself to a certain standard. And before he released the Carter 6, it felt like Wayne was about to do that. It felt like he might give us something monstrous again. It had been 7 years since the Carter 5. Rolling Stone went and did an interview with Lil Wayne at his studio where he previewed them some music that was supposed to make the album. And that interview gave us a telltale sign that either Lil Wayne was a super genius who thrived in his own bubble, or he was so isolated from the world around him that he was heading for a disastrous back half of his career. The beginning of the interview, Wayne is previewing new music and says, "If you got a favorite rapper, tell them, suck my D." He says, "I never understood vacation. What are you taking a break from? If it's a vacation, you're supposed to do things that you enjoy, right? So I take my music with me." He's even asked on why he feels like his peers like 50 Cent and Jay-Z are regarded as high-level executives who graduated from hip-hop into making business moves. Meanwhile, Lil Wayne also makes business moves, putting on some of today's superstars like Drake and Nicki, but he's not necessarily regarded as that high-level executive. And Lil Wayne chalked it up essentially to the fact that it's because he's still so active and still so great as a rapper. He said, "Imagine you're a player coach still averaging 30 a night and someone's asking, hey, do you feel slighted that they don't put you in the coach type of conversations? No, I'm still dropping 30 points a night. I'm fine being the best rapper." And then you just found out, oh crap, he owns Young Money. Oh, he put Drake out? Oh my. Well, we're gonna touch on what Young Thug said later in this video, but you also gotta look deeper and say, would a high-level executive be making decisions like selling their catalog back to the record label before that catalog felt like it fully expired? Anyways, I thought that Lil Wayne's daily schedule was pretty crazy. They said in this interview, Wayne's average day ends shortly after leaving the studio and getting breakfast while watching morning sports on shows like First Take. He sleeps, and then he wakes up to dinner around 6 p.m. Later, I tell him his schedule is the inverse of the average human's. Wayne says, I never thought of it like that. Thank you. Like I said before, Wayne is up there recording all night and then sleeps until dinner. Now, this interview released about 6 months before the Carter 6, and it sounded completely different from what we actually heard as the final product. They said in the interview, Wayne was focused on collaborations with the Carter 6. Wayne said, if there's one thing about this album that's different, it's me approaching it like, man, what would I sound like on something with such and such? Miley Cyrus makes an appearance. Wayne recorded a track featuring an uncleared Billie Eilish sample, but the most unexpected guest I hear is Italian opera star Andrea Bocelli, who sings Ave Maria on another track. Wyclef Jean flew to Italy to ask Bocelli's permission to sample the song, and ended up telling Bocelli the story of Wayne surviving a self-inflicted gunshot at 12. The tenor was so moved that he decided to sing the opera standard himself. It's one of those records that I feel like is going to stop time, Wyclef Jean says. That was the only song out of dozens that they mentioned in this interview that ended up making the Carter 6. You guys tell me, did that end up stopping time? They did let us know that Wayne would be experimenting with the guitar a lot more for this album. They said Wayne has played guitar for nearly 2 decades. He doesn't know music theory, but plays by feel and often adds a solo to his features. This is now what's getting fans to leave in the middle of his concert. He ends up previewing Rolling Stone more Carter 6 songs and tells them the Super Bowl could have had some music. They could have had some guitar, but instead they got rapping. They effed up. Of course, he's referencing the fact that Kendrick Lamar made the halftime show strictly hip-hop, whereas Wayne's saying if he took that stage, they'd get some real music like what we heard on the Carter 6. This is the first sign of Wayne living in his own bubble and being unable to recognize the fact that it was Kendrick's hard work that got him there. You can make the argument that Wayne might work harder, but not smarter. If the Carter 6 is the quality that Wayne thought deserved the Super Bowl stage, what does that say about the headspace he's in when he's making a record in 2025? Like the word I used before, this is simply tone deaf. It gets weirder. Anyways, they continued saying, fans wondered whether the NFL had told Wayne something that would make him feel like he was poised to be the choice for the Super Bowl halftime show. Because remember, again, he was acting like this was something that was offered to him and then robbed from him. Lil Wayne says the league encouraged him to be more public-facing in preparation for the show, making him feel like the selection was inevitable. To perform, Lil Wayne says, it's a bunch of things that they're going to ask you to do and not to do. Butts to kiss and not to kiss. If you notice, I was a part of things I've never been a part of, like Michael Rubin's all-white parties. I'm doing stuff with Tom Brady. That was all for what? It was all to get that Super Bowl halftime slot. You're not going to see me in those type of venues. I'm not Drake. I'm not out there smiling like that everywhere. I'm in the studio, smoking and recording. He even says that after Kendrick was announced to be the halftime performer, someone at the NFL called him and apologized, saying, we're not in charge of the Super Bowl halftime show. When he was asked if it was Jay-Z who's in charge of the halftime show, he did clarify that him and Jay-Z are close friends, saying that advice from Jay is just a text away. Another sign of Lil Wayne living in his own bubble, because you had Nicki Minaj right after Kendrick was announced ripping Jay-Z apart on Twitter, saying that his hate for Birdman and Drake caused him to snub Lil Wayne. So which one is it? Is Young Money beefing with Jay-Z? Or is Jay just a text away from Lil Wayne? He also says he spoke to Kendrick Lamar, told him he better kill the Super Bowl halftime show, but at the same time, when Kendrick Lamar first released GNX, Wayne tweeted out that day saying, I just be chillin' and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. But a month later, he claimed he never even heard the Kendrick album. He also says he never paid attention to Drake and Kendrick's beef. Lil Wayne specifically said, I'm going to give you the perfect example. I went on stage and I was singing this song, and they thought that I was dissing Drake. The song in question was Not Like Us. Lil Wayne buries his face into the arm of a chair while laughing about unknowingly rapping along to a Drake diss track. I ain't want my dude to be mad at me. I didn't even know it was Kendrick rapping that song. But it's like, something just doesn't add up here, right? Like, yes, Wayne is in his own world, but you saw in that clip, he's singing, they don't like us. He's not saying they not like us. He's saying they don't like us. He's rapping that as he's about to perform his Drake collaboration, The Motto, and he's flashing an OVO owl chain, saying they don't like us, then claiming that he didn't even know the song was a diss song. What would prompt him to sing it then? It's not his song. Now, this next excerpt from the interview is when I realized, okay, Lil Wayne really either is putting on an insane act, acting like he's completely isolated from the world, or he genuinely has zero idea what the hell is going on. So first, his son shows him Mr. Beast. Lil Wayne didn't know who Mr. Beast was. And then the interviewer references Jay-Z and Kanye West Watch the Throne. Lil Wayne says, what's that? They say Kanye West and Jay-Z's album. Lil Wayne says, they did an album? The rest of the room spends the next 5 minutes playing songs from Watch the Throne to jog Wayne's memory. He looks bewildered, trying to decipher the opening moments of the song Otis, asking Lil Twist if he ever freestyled to it. But he does recall the songs People in Paris and No Church in the Wild. Now, as someone who was following Wayne's career very closely around that time when Watch the Throne released, this makes zero sense to me for so many reasons. Number one, the first single off Watch the Throne, Ham, Jay-Z was directly dissing both Lil Wayne and Birdman. Kanye West first played Lil Wayne the Ham song in the studio before releasing it. Jay Mills, an artist on Young Money, had recalled the story, saying that Wayne heard Kanye play that verse, heard Jay-Z taking shots at him, immediately went into the next studio and was furious, and eventually recorded the song It's Good, where he responds to Jay-Z's diss. Jay-Z was referencing the fact that Birdman said Lil Wayne was a better rapper and had more money than Jay, so on Ham, Jay rapped, I'm like, really? $500 million? Really? You got baby money. Keep it real with guys, these guys ain't got my ladies' money. Because of course, Birdman's nickname was also Baby. Lil Wayne flipped that by saying, you're talking about baby money? I got your baby money. Kidnap your girl, get that how much you love your lady money. So that's reason number one as to why it's impossible Lil Wayne didn't know Watch the Throne existed, because he was previewed the first single off that project before the album was ever released. Number two, Watch the Throne was released a week before Lil Wayne's album The Carter 4, both of them in August of 2011. Reason number three, Drake had rapped, I'm just feeling like the throne is for the taking, watch me take it. And he had referenced the fact that him and Lil Wayne were supposed to do a collab album, and then Jay-Z and Kanye West got the idea of doing one themselves off the fact that Wayne and Drake were about to do one. So you're telling me Drake is well aware enough of this, but Lil Wayne had no clue?
I study rap battles for a living.
Reason number four, Lil Wayne performed at the VMAs in 2011, where Jay-Z and Kanye West performed their song Otis at the same award show when Wayne was in attendance. But now he's acting like he's never heard this song before and didn't know this album existed. I bring all this up to say, if this doesn't show you how out of touch Wayne is, saying that, the Carter 6 is real music and that deserved to be on the Super Bowl stage, saying that he didn't know the Drake and Kendrick beef happened, he didn't know Watch the Throne existed, this made it very clear to me that Lil Wayne could not care less about what's going on around him within hip-hop. And that's more than all right, unless you're trying to compete. And Wayne most definitely is, and still thinks his price deserves a high level. Ghostface, who just released his comeback album, Supreme Clientele 2, he was saying that he tried to get Lil Wayne on it, and in the big 2025, Lil Wayne was trying to charge him $150,000 for a feature.
We tried to reach out to Wayne. Everything was like, yo, man, from what I'm hearing, it might not even been him. Yeah. But they asked for like $150,000, and I'm like, yo, you know what, man? Just knock it out yourself.
Yes, Lil Wayne kills his features, but in 2025, are you really going to invest $150,000 for a 16 from Wayne? Are you going to make your money back on that? That song would need to be streamed around 350 million times in order to make $150,000. But it shows you that Wayne is still confident he's the best rapper alive and no one could compete. Let me show you what Wayne sounded like when he was truly the best rapper alive.
My city's dying, but I emerged from all of that. I am a living pious. I am hip-hop. And I ain't dead, I'm alive.
I hope that didn't get copyrighted, but if it did, you could just go look up BET Awards Lil Wayne Gossip Performance. This is one of the best hip-hop performances, in my opinion, of all time. That was Wayne in 2007. This is him in 2025.
What?
And then there's that Pop That record. I don't know what it is with the Don't Stop that makes Wayne go absolutely nuts. But, you know, again, maybe this is all for the love of the sport. It's still fun to see Lil Wayne have, you know, a good time on stage flirting with the audience.
Who are you? Jesus Christ. Oh, that was personal. I'm sorry. The light shined on you, baby. I'm sorry. You look like the lady from Game of Thrones. I've been wanting to do something to her my whole life. Anyway, music!
And it seems like he's doing this for the love of the music. Again, Wayne is in his own world, right? So it's only right that if he's picking up the guitar, it's purely out of passion.
Hey, I just want to say thank you to the people, the great people over there at Fender for sending me this one-of-a-kind Jaguar. What that is, 60th anniversary Jaguar. I feel awesome for this. I really appreciate that, not for real. Also, I heard it was only sent out to a select few, and to find out that I was a part of that select few made me feel awesome. So, Fender, thank you for making me feel awesome. I appreciate that. And also, I will make history with this motherfucker. Thank you.
And by picking the guitar back up, he has now decided to move Young Money in the direction of making rock music. They just signed a new artist, and I mean, I don't want to crap on this artist, right? Like, she's probably talented in her own right, but you have to understand from a marketing perspective, where's the overlap between the music that Wayne fans love Wayne for and his Young Money artist for versus stuff like this? Again, from a business perspective, it's almost like you're wasting this young girl's time, right? Your audience wants nothing to do with this. It's like a clothing store starting to sell pickles or something. It's two completely different worlds. I mean, this is her doing her own rendition of Lil Wayne's song, A Milli. You tell me if these two worlds collide properly. And so on this tour for the Carter 6, where fans are going and looking for a taste of a little bit of nostalgia from back in Wayne's prime and a sprinkle of some new music, he decides to bring out his new heavy metal artist to perform with him on stage for his fans. And this is where you get fans just straight up leaving the stadium.
The moment Lil Wayne turned his rap concert into a rock concert in Detroit.
Throughout this tour, he also randomly just didn't show up to his Toronto show. Initially, they said it was postponed, but then they just randomly canceled the event completely without refunding fans. You had to manually go on the app to get it refunded.
If you were one of the people like me that went to Toronto to see Lil Wayne until it got postponed, don't hold your breath because the show has officially been cancelled. After 2 weeks of no statement from Lil Wayne or his team, the show has officially been cancelled. Which obviously we all knew was going to happen because they were never going to reschedule that show. But it's not like Ticketmaster sent me an email or a notification letting me know that the show has officially been cancelled. My friend sent me this screenshot from her Apple Wallet showing that the ticket was cancelled today. And originally my ticket was still in the upcoming tab and it just said rescheduled, but now it's in the past tab as if I actually went to the show. So if you haven't somehow already requested a refund for this show, I would get on that ASAP.
And I experienced this as well with Wayne. I told you guys how I saw him when I was 13 years old in 2011, but in 2023, this was the first time he was coming back to my city to do another show. My city has a curfew at 11 p.m. Wayne was supposed to get on at around 9:30, 10. He ends up getting on at 10:45, and they're forced to shut down his entire performance less than 15 minutes after he got on stage. If that doesn't show you he's in his own world, I don't know what will. And the problem is not that he's in his own world. The problem is at the fact that he still wants to be the best rapper alive in 2025. But he's doing these big stadiums the first time in 10 years, and fans are walking out. It shows you that when he's given this large platform, not as large as the Super Bowl, but, you know, looking back, it's good that he didn't get that thing. Because ultimately, is he really equipped to handle audiences the size that the best rapper alive deserves at this point in 2025? I think his longtime collaborator T-Pain made a great point about the reception that Wayne received from the Carter 6 and how Wayne to this day is still a great rapper, but he's so reluctant to listen to anybody else that it ends up being to his own detriment. He can't get the right feedback. He can't hire the proper producers. He can't have anyone except Yes Men telling him that, yeah, it's okay, release elephant sounds on your new album. No problem.
Wayne was rapping his ass off on that entire album. Wayne went crazy on that whole thing. Obviously, there was a mishap or a misstep on, you know, picking the production and stuff like that. But, you know, once you get into a comfortable state and your engineers start making beats and he's like, yo, I got beats. And you're like, oh, yeah, why are we looking? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, why would we look anywhere else? Absolutely. Load that up. Let me rap.
And ultimately, this is the detriment to where Wayne is at in his career right now. But it might stem back to something a little larger. See, a big factor as to why Wayne was so successful for so many years was because he had the cash money machine behind him. Birdman practically raised him. He met Birdman when he was 11 years old. Say what you want about Birdman paying artists, but Birdman knows a hit. Birdman is an executive first, and he never let Lil Wayne release albums for a long time unless they had massive hits on them. And because of that, those albums would then go on to sell 1 million in the first week. Lil Wayne and Birdman had a falling out in about 2015, and ever since then, Wayne's career hasn't fully felt the same. He hasn't had that same spark. But at the same time, now he is fully in charge of his own music and whatever gets released from his studio sessions. But maybe it was Birdman's ear all along that was the secret recipe to Wayne's success, to make sure that there was a level of quality control behind what Wayne released. When they were going through their back and forth, there was an incident where Wayne's tour bus was shot up, which led to the arrest of Young Thug affiliate Pee Wee Roscoe. Young Thug at the time, this was 2015, he was closely associated with Birdman as well, who Lil Wayne just had a beef with. So now as a result, he's also beefing Young Thug. Young Thug, like I said, he just had his interrogation from 2015 relating to that tour bus shooting incident leak online where he's talking to the police. And he gives us a really accurate snapshot into what was going on at the time and what we maybe speculated happened but didn't fully know. So what he was saying was he joined the Cash Money roster in around 2014. He was heavily inspired by Wayne, literally rapping exactly like him for the longest time when he first came into the game. And because of that, Birdman thought he'd be a great addition to Cash Money, trying to sign him multiple times. It's 2014, and Birdman, Rich Homie Quan, and Young Thug team up to form the Ricch Gang Collective, where they release the hit song Lifestyle and the classic mixtape The Tour. At the same time, Lil Wayne is gearing up to drop his long-awaited Carter 5. It had been like 3 years since the Carter 4, which sold almost 1 million in the first week as well. So the hype is definitely there, but the singles aren't. And Young Thug, during this interrogation, tells us that Birdman had told him the reason why Wayne and Birdman were beefing is because Wayne wanted to release the Carter 5, but Birdman wouldn't let it come out because he knew the hype was there, but Wayne had no real single to put out to the world. If you remember at the time, back in 2014, Lil Wayne had released multiple singles for the Carter 5. Believe Me with Drake, Grinding with Drake, Crazy, Start a Fire with Christina Milian, and Gotti with The Locks. That's 5 singles. None of them cracked the top 10. And to put it into perspective, both the Carter 3 and 4 had 3 top 10 singles. So for Wayne to have 0 this time around with the Carter 5, it showed maybe he wasn't in the best shape as a musician to properly deliver the larger-than-life hits that we had gotten from him years prior. Like I said earlier, this was years after Lil Wayne had already kicked his feet up and let, Drake get on the hooks and him just take a back seat, right? So he's not in that best rapper alive mode. So Birdman tells Young Thug, and Young Thug tells the police that Lil Wayne and him were beefing because Birdman said, nah, Junior, you're not releasing this album until there's a hit. And right now you put out 5 songs with no hit. And if you remember at the time, all we had known was that Lil Wayne just kept postponing the release date of the album until eventually he tweeted out saying that Birdman was holding it hostage and he wanted nothing to do with Cash Money, the very same label that ushered him into the game, the same label he was on for the last 20 years. Now he wanted off. But Lil Wayne says, this is what Birdman's explanation was, right? That he was just holding Carter 5 hostage until Wayne had a hit. But then Young Thug realized that Wayne was actually suing Birdman for $50 million because Birdman was withholding the profits of all his Young Money artists and Wayne's music himself. And at that point, Young Thug tells the police, like, oh crap, it's good that I didn't sign with Birdman. And ever since that day, I stopped talking to Birdman completely. Now, it's important to note that both Birdman and Young Thug at the time had been implicated in this tour bus shooting, so it was in Young Thug's best interest to tell the police that he completely cut off contact with Birdman due to this Lil Wayne situation. We don't know if he's telling the full truth, but it paints a larger picture in that Young Thug was around Birdman at the time. Lil Wayne wasn't getting paid by Birdman, but also couldn't put out quality enough music to the point where his album deserved to be released. Birdman holds it hostage. Wayne realizes he's not getting paid, starts this lawsuit, starts beefing with both Birdman and Young Thug, and eventually they all have this falling out. And from there, Lil Wayne releases tons of music, but name me 3 Lil Wayne hits, solo hits, in the last 10 years, since that whole fallout with Birdman happened. The craziest part is that Birdman was telling Young Thug, yo, Wayne needs a hit. So their massive hit lifestyle, Young Thug actually said he offered that to Wayne. He was like, yo, Wayne, take this song. Imagine Lil Wayne rapping Lifestyle. It would kind of sound exactly the same, but what an amazing song, right? Imagine that was like the first single for the Carter 5. It would have been massive. But Wayne ultimately rejected it, saying that he doesn't let any other rapper write for him. And I respect that, but it seemed to be this sense of stubbornness, right? Like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and no one's going to tell me anything about it. And at this point, there's only yes men around him, to the point where he thinks it's cool to put elephant sounds on his album and bring out heavy metal artists during his hip-hop concert, celebrating the 30 years that he's had within the game. I hope this isn't a sign for more darkness to come, but Lil Wayne, like I said, has not been on a stadium tour in 10 years, and the first one he's on, fans are walking out of the building as he's performing. If that's not a sign that there's a little bit of a tone deafness going on, that you need to maybe get a better team in place, I don't know what is. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one.